A Journey Beyond Sanity. Chapter 1. Ow, 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 ow. Okay, I've been lying down for too long now. That light glaring into my closed eyelids isn't helping either. I seriously need to open them now. Big mistake on my part. I hiss in annoyance, my eyes shutting quickly as I rub them. My arm feeling surprisingly soft for some reason. At the bright light of the sun shining down upon me, signaling it was time to get up. Despite its beauty, the sun has a thing for getting people out of bed in the most unwelcome way possible. Grunting, I shift around on my bed, not determined in the slightest as my aching body refused to get up. Wait, aching? My body shouldn't be in discomfort. True, my bed hasn't always been the most luxurious thing to sleep on, but it did its job adequately. Wait, I don't recall my bed being so uncomfortable and filthy. Blinking, my back turned to the pestering sun. I slowly opened my eyes one last time. My blurry vision clearing as my tired mind slowly processed that I was not, in fact, in my bed, but rather on the ground, outside, on yellow dirt. He's waking up. I can see that. What do you think's wrong with him? Maybe he had too much sugar. Where? Who? What? Mister, hey mister, wake up! Immediately my hand flew to my bad ear in protection. My features contorted in disdain. Obviously, one or two people were nearby. Too close, judging by their voices, glancing upwards. I swear my eyes were about to bulge out as I noticed two multicolored horses were looking down on me. And if I didn't know any better, I'd say their expressions were that of concern. Imagine my shock when one of them opened their mouths and spoke. Are you all right, sir? That looks pretty uncomfortable. Okay, I'm dreaming. I must be, because there's no way, absolutely no way, I am being addressed by two talking horses. Oh, now I've finally done it. I've drunken too much cola that's caused me to have some sort of lucid dream with a clear mind. You could say, I managed to muster from my tired voice, I've had too much to drink before going to bed. One would say any normal person would be screaming or yelling in frightened shock over two talking animals. Unfortunately for them, I don't believe in normal people. One of them, the cream-colored one, undoubtedly female, blinked. The path is your bed? I shook my head, my mind waking up more by the minute. Wait, it shouldn't be waking up. I'm already dreaming. It is not possible. Guy who believes anything is possible is being a hypocrite right now. To dream and wake up at the same time. Brain, explain yourself. Your horse, also female, a clear green, though was it lime, smiled slightly as I unconsciously yawned. Perhaps you've fallen asleep last night while going home. Having too much candy can do that to you. Honestly, I'm more of a chocolate guy. But that's beside the point. It was clear to me now that this is not some ordinary dream. Or a dream at all, for that matter. Where exactly am I? I asked slowly, carefully steadying myself upwards on my legs, focusing my gaze on the two creatures while ignoring the sunlight, and my back remains in pain from sleeping on this clear ground on a pathway. I mean the location, I snapped, ignoring their blinking at the behavior. I don't have time for this. I need to figure out what's going on around me, and an idea of my surroundings would be the most ideal place to start. Town? Country? The alarming one, heavily taken back by my behavior. Why, you're in Ponyville. Where else? What did you say? Surely I misheard that. My brain mustn't be fully awake yet, because there is no chance I am in where they just claimed I am. The creamy one nodded rather too enthusiastically for my taste. She's right. You must be new around here, judging by the confusion on your face, the foreign accent, and that we've never seen you around here before. This is Ponyville, and you're just in time. The Summer Sun celebration will be starting tonight. Since that wonder, I raised my hand, a stern expression replacing my befuddled one. You're saying I'm in Ponyville. Uh-huh. And you're both. It was their turn to exchange looks of confusion. Ponies. Now I know I've drank too much, I muttered in disbelief, my gaze turning from them to look around the area, finding that they were saying was indeed correct. How? What? When? Ponies. Ponies everywhere. Some walking around, entering and exiting various buildings of shapes and sizes. Some even flying. All multicolored, and conversing as though they had a higher intelligence than possible. I'm hallucinating. The cola has gone to my head. I must be awake in my real house, and pretty soon my mother would notice I'm talking to thin air. I'll be in a mental hospital before I know it. Or is this some sort of ritual, as though every newcomer to the show goes through this little daydream to prove that they're worthy of joining the fan base? Not that I'm insinuating bronies were insane. Not at all. But okay, I'll admit this would be pretty neat to me if I'd known this was coming earlier. But sir, the creamy one pointed out, I must admit, despite the situation, the politeness was rather welcoming. I looked back at her puzzled look, identical to my understandable own. You make it sound as though you've never met or seen a pony before. You are one too, aren't you? I scoffed loudly. You're mistaken. There's no way I cut myself off when I subconsciously checked my body to back up my words. Oh dear Lord, no. How? What? When? My jaw was wide open, slacking at the sight of myself. My whole body was bent, shaped like one of them. Like gold fur all over me, a tail coated in numerous shades of brown, swishing happily back at me. I immediately looked down, noting why my hands were fixed on the ground. They were hooves. My front appendages were already feeling around my features. Smaller nose, mouth remains the same, despite it being part of a muzzle now. And oh, thank God it's still here, no doubt trailing down the middle of my neck. Are you alright? Mr. the Cream one asked in general concern. At least this explained why they weren't freaking out at a human in the middle of their town. But good question. Was I alright? I don't. But how, who, when? Was all I could splutter. My mind pounded against itself as logic tried to figure out what was happening to me. How and when did this happen? Why did this happen? I shouldn't be like this. I circled round, already tumbling down from improper use of the new limbs. I raised the hoof to stop the two from helping me upward, sorting in it myself. How is this possible? I quietly asked myself, my mind racking as it struggles to comprehend, searching for a sufficient answer to that question. Definitely too much sugar, I heard the lime one whisper to her friend that confirmed my sorry state. Taking in a deep breath, I exhaled with all the calm I could muster, and turned back to the patient too. So let me get this straight, I began, my voice attempting not to pitch at the thrill of it all. I'm a pony. Yes, sir. You're both ponies. Last time we checked, and I'm in Ponyville. Yep. In Equestria. Well, where else would you be? Oh, I don't know. Home, Earth, anywhere but here. I see, was all I could manage to say in response. I see? I see? Yeah, what a perfect natural thing to say in the light of these revelations. I suddenly wake up to find myself in a fictional world as one of the fictional residents, and all I can say is, I see. Yeah, sounds about right. Do you need help or something, mister? The creamy one asked again, looking just as concerned as her friend. I shake my head, hardly ever happy to receive assistance, unless you wouldn't happen to know some place I could eat free of charge. Great. Food. Yes, that's the first thing to pop up. Well, in my defense, I can't think straight on an empty stomach. The limey one replied, no doubt ecstatic to help someone in need. You could always try the Sweet Apple Acres farm. They're always generous to those starving with no money. If not, well, I'm afraid unless any pony working in a food place was in a good mood, there wouldn't be much. Maybe Sugar Cube Corner? I understand. I cut her off briskly. And I appreciate that advice. Thank you and have a nice day. My conversation with them has gone on long enough. For now, food was number one on my mind. I didn't need a headache along the way. Plus, as soon as my growling stomach is satisfied, then I can look for more important matters, how I got here being the highest on the list. We can escort you to any of those if you don't know. I'm certain I know where to go. Thank you. With that said, I turned and headed to the opposite direction. Oh, I almost forgot, I hear the female say as she glanced over my no longer existent shoulder. Welcome to Ponyville, mister. Yeah, thanks. I sighed and nodded to the waiting pair and continued on my path down the who knows where. The matter is not the smell of the food will guide me. I'm a pony now. What exactly am I supposed to continue that with? Glug, glug, glug. I previously did say to myself I would be seeking out some breakfast, but then I realized I have to have my morning glass of water, except A, I have no glasses to drink from, and B, I couldn't just go to someone's house and request a glass of water. I despise imposing, after all. So in the end, after walking around, I discovered this little stream down a hill near the town. My options were few. I looked around beforehand to check if anyone was observing. Surely it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to see that kind drink even from a river, right? Well, caution to the wind. Not quite as fresh, but substantial for now. Wiping my muzzle, I sat in a position that they would normally sit like. I guess staring down at the reflection of confusion, lost, looking back straight at me. Well, at least I still have my blue-green mixed eyes, brown hair. Hey, isn't that my beard? I still have my beard. My hoof carefully feels around the soft bottom of my chin. Do ponies even have facial hair? Doesn't matter. I still have my beard. Yes, some good news at last. Still, this body could take some getting used to. I've certainly gotten a lot better at walking, albeit a few trips here and there. If I'm going to be stuck here for a while. Ah, yes, priorities. Equestria was a bright, animated, that was something to note, and lively as presented from the TV. I noticed right away, upon searching the town, that the residents were all friendly. Too friendly for my taste. And some annoyingly so. Repeatedly asked if I was alright and if I needed anything. Was the lost expression really that obvious? I politely declined them all, alongside doing my best to avoid a certain pinky pony who throws unnecessary parties for new arrivals. But just how did I get here, though? During my walk around for food and drink, multiple ideas swam through my head. Behind the possibilities. For one, I am simply hallucinating. This was all caused by the after effects of too much Coca-Cola. Bit of a stretch, yes, but that was simply a theory. 2. This is all a dream. The Forsaken song sequence would be ideal proof as such. Yet, judging by my genuine feeling of hunger, my feet on the grass, and the taste of that rather distasteful water, and a wide-awake brain, that seemed heavily unlikely. 3. I'm dead, and this is the afterlife for me. Okay. That's just purely imagining the worst. 4. I was brought here. Now that was also a leap in logic. Who or what could possibly bring me here, and why? And for that matter, why me and some other lover of the show? I mean, my knowledge of this world is very limited. I've never even seen the first episode, for God's sake. I sighed. This mental debate with myself will get me nowhere. I hate to say this, but I need help. Someone help get a clear idea of what's going on. Hang on, is that blue blur getting rid of all of the clouds? I snapped my head up from the reflective water to gaze at the now beautiful sky. Must have been the work of that arrogant Pegasus. Yet for some reason, she was always her favorite. Oh right, no doubt my little sis has already departed to school by now, oblivious to what has happened to her big brother. Is it possible? I won't likely see. A loud chorus of chirping breaks off my thoughts, and I sigh in irritation. They seem to be coming from nearby. Well, nothing better to do other than wallow in my own thoughts. I'll dwell more on it later, still hungry. You know, a sudden thought occurred to me as I walked down the pathway towards the source of that curious sound. Why am I gold? Not that it's a bad color. Don't get me wrong. I mean, why that color of all color on my new coat? Why couldn't I be blue? Blue is the best. Nothing beats it. Instead, I'm this color. So what if I'm being nitpicky? I need something to criticize to maintain my sanity. What little of it was left, anyhow. For that matter, despite the lack of sufficient knowledge, I'm fully aware of what kind of pony I am. And quite an inconvenience it is. Earth pony. Really? Seriously? Of all kinds, I'm the weakest type of breed. No horn, no wings. Just a pony. Why does this make me so mad? Well, I've learned enough to know that anyone who's an earth pony may as well be working as janitors for their whole lives, if they never get a position of power in any kind of government or monarchy. Okay, not being too harsh, but without this use of this world's magic or flying capabilities, I'm basically useless. No awesome magic tricks, no flying beyond the limit, just this. Wonderful. And quite honestly, I'm not sure what to make of the tail. It's not too bad, despite it being the shades of the most boring color in existence. In fact, it must felt natural, except nothing about this is natural. Christ, my brain hurts. Something to distract me. A flock of multicolored and types of birds upon a leafless tree singing in sync. Playing a tune, which I honestly can say isn't half bad. Keeping my distance, I simply sat back and observed. I don't seem to be the only one. A flash of yellow caught my eyes. A flying Pegasus with pink mane and blue innocent eyes at the opposite end, watching with a serene smile. I couldn't help but slightly smile in turn. At least someone I know. And of course, Fluttershy would be around these kind of animals. Where else would she be? Still, no point in alerting them to my presence. Nor do I have any motive to speak to her. Hang on. What am I saying? That is Fluttershy. Fluttershy. One of the main characters of the show. The first one I've seen all morning. Would it not hurt to at least give her a friendly greeting or strike up a conversation if she wasn't too busy? Maybe if she is kind enough, I can get some free food, as long as it's not animal food. Hay is not an exception. Maybe I'll wait a little longer. There's no desire to disrupt her or the work these birds were doing. An opportunity will present itself, I'm sure. I sat down in a position I deemed comfortable, despite flinching a little from the fading ache of my back. Hey, another thought just popped up. A name. A name for myself while I'm here in this colorful world, to blend in with this town as much as I possibly can. I'm really wanting to give out my name to anyone anyhow. Why? Trust isn't really something I can afford, even about my name. I'm paranoid. I won't deny that. Right then, name, what shall it be? Well, Twilight was already taken for a fact. Shame. Balance. That'd work as a surname, I think. I like balance, so what would be first? Suddenly hit me. I'm taking this more calmly than I should. Got it. Stardust Balance. Stardust. Stardust Balance. Perfect. Dawn or Dusk would be a bit bland for names, despite their relation to the Twilight, so yeah, Stardust Balance it is. I love it. It's creative, original, and I do believe there's no one else in this world named that. And if there's anything I've thrived more than everything, it's creativity. I just now noticed a voice has broken through and halted the pleasant chirping of the birds. Excuse me, sir. Let's forget about her. Well, Fluttershy seems to be addressing one of the many birds in question. I mean, no offense, but your rhythm is just a teeny tiny bit off, if you ask me. I thought it was just fine. But wow, I don't think I've ever witnessed someone being so kind to an animal like that in my entire life. Already, I feel some form of respect for the Pegasus. No wonder so many like her. She continued from a distance to the birds. Now follow me, please. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. Hello. Before you asked, that was not me. As flying pony startled in surprise, and the birds flew away in fright. To my admitted disappointment, I turned my gaze to the source of the interruption. Ah, her. I recognized that purple coat, darker purple mane with a pink stripe in both hair and tail, polite yet knowledgeable purple eyes. Well, we all have our own favorite preferred ponies. Ponies we simply either like or respect simply because of who they are and how well written their characters were by the great writer herself. Just as my sister's favorite was the boastful, obnoxious Rainbow Dash, I too have a favorite. It wasn't that hard for her to gain my respect before that movie came out. But less said about that, the better. And I'm very fond of intelligent characters who don't allow their knowledge to get the best of their attitudes. Twilight Sparkle was a prime example. Okay, I'm aware she can be a bit smug at times, even sometimes boast about her esteemed knowledge, but that's to be expected. Speaking of the purple unicorn, she continued speaking to the yellow Pegasus, obviously oblivious to my nearby presence. Oh my, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to frighten your birds. I'm just here to check on the music. And it's sounding beautiful. Even a bookworm has a good taste in music. Remember that one, kids. Okay. I've been unnoticed for too long now. Which is the exact opposite of me never liking attention in the first place. 2 main characters to talk to. How can I say no? Despite my legs feeling a little jelly-like at the mere thought of the chance. Raising my 2 hooves together, I made a weird clapping noise that alerted 2. Well, 3, since the pet dragon was behind them. To my presence from the opposite end of the tree, before walking up towards them. Must concur. Damn. Did my voice have to almost pitch at that last part? That was pleasant listening to. Pardon the interruption, but I can't resist praising good music when I hear it. Glancing at me for a moment in curiosity, I pretend I'm not, admittedly a little unnerved by the Twilight gaze. Twilight nodded in agreement as we both turned to the ascending, obviously shy Pegasus, because her name is Fluttershy. Get it? Ha ha ha. I wonder if that honestly ever made anyone laugh. See, even somebody else thinks it's great. I suppose there's never been a more perfect time to say this. Senpai noticed me. Whatever the hell senpai even meant. Well, I said good. Not great. I couldn't resist correcting her with a grin. My mind, meanwhile, was screaming in pure shock. A conversation with Twilight Sparkle! And she agrees with me on something. Granted, it was me agreeing with her, but still. This would be the greatest day ever if I knew it was coming. Seriously, I hate surprises. Yet her attention remained fixed on the other pony, avoiding our curious looks behind her own bright mane. For some reason, a wave of deja vu washes over me. When Fluttershy didn't reply, Twilight gave off an awkward grin and glanced at me in question. I shrugged in response. I already had an idea on how this was going to end. Probably the reason behind the deja vu. I'm Twilight Sparkle. She introduced herself to us both. Balance, I had mentally prepared myself for the interruptions when approaching them. Stardust Balance. A pleasure. I gave a light bow, though I assume would count as a bow to this species. Likewise, the studious unicorn gave a friendly smile in greeting. I couldn't stop smiling despite myself. The politeness was just all over the place. But what else was to be expected in a world filled with magic-talking animals? We both turned back to the Pegasus. What's your name? Twilight asked in a friendly manner, addressing the nervous pony. I held back my own tongue, instead taking the opportunity to examine the pair more closely. They're exactly like they are in the show. Fascinating. Simply amazing. Here I am speaking to two of the most popular ponies in existence. I have achieved what no other brony has done before. Except in fanfics. But this isn't one. Unless, as I thought earlier this morning, all bronies went through this as a test to their commitment to the show. Then I frowned in puzzlement. Wait, they're just now meeting? That means I'm in the very first episode, doesn't it? Okay, so maybe now I have a more clear understanding of the timeline in terms with the show I'm in. Hang on. Vague memories about what I was told occurs in this episode spring to mind. A villain appears at the end. That was it, huh? I'm Fluttershy. Was the quiet response snapping out my thoughts. I honestly can't blame her right now. This massive urge to shrink away from being too popular cartoon icons is getting to me. I'm sorry. What was that? My name is Fluttershy. I put more focus to my hearing for this. She didn't quite catch that. She then made a high-pitched, but I can make out she was saying her name. It was very adorable, yet not really needed. The chirping caused me to see the birds have returned. Good for them. And now, awkward silence. The young pony began an effort of clearing the tension. Looks like your birds are back, so I guess everything's in order. Keep up the good work. Yep, good try. She turned to Twilight. Then turned to me. It was nice meeting you. Obviously she had business to tend to, so I won't keep up her time. Likewise, Miss Sparkle, Miss Fluttershy. I had to cease my smirk from expanding to a grin. Well, I'll just be on my way. Good day. I nodded to the pair in farewell and proceeded on my way while the unicorn nodded back in politeness, struggling to restrain a grin, threatening to take over my features. Maybe there were some positives to this after all. A simple nod to the small dragon, who nervously nodded in turn as I walked off. That was then I stumbled in surprise at the exclaimed ecstatic voice. A baby dragon! Followed by something landing on my back hard. Okay, ow. I twisted my head to the source, and upon seeing who fell on me, raised a brow above irritation and amusement. Ooh, I've never seen a baby dragon before. He's so cute. Cute wouldn't be the word I'd use to define him, I muttered, as Twilight got off me and gave an embarrassed, apologetic look. Hey, I have had worse land on me. You alright? I asked, instead while standing back up correctly. That almost strain on my back earlier has returned. Great. And this also would be a good time to say, Senpai fell on me. I'm fine, thank you, Twilight replied in relief. I assume that's out of the fact I didn't get mad at her. Well. The dragon cast us a smug look, which I would be rather happy to wipe off for him before turning back to excited Fluttershy. Sig Pace gasped. He talks! I didn't know dragons can talk. Yep, he talks alright. And just now I wish it stayed that way. I said quietly with a blank stare, seeing Twilight from the corner of my eye laying out. A slight smile at the remark, no doubt, as displeased as I. That's just so incredibly wonderful. I don't even know what to say, Fluttershy said in quiet glee. That was when the purple unicorn decided she had enough. I don't blame her. And with her rather small horn, used this world's interesting magic to lift the dragon, and wear his name is Spike onto her back. Onto her back, obviously intending to be part. Well, in that case, we better go, as should I. I nodded to them from behind and continued on the path nowhere. Though, I wonder, would it be best to follow them? Wait, what's his name, Fluttershy asked after Twilight as the pair walked off, their voices already distancing from my ears. On second thought, I think it'd be best if I still got a good look around the town first. That way, when I have it all imprinted in my mind, I can tell all about it to my gleeful sister afterwards. If I somehow get back. Besides, I chuckled. Twilight looks as though she has enough company to deal with as it is. I almost feel sorry for her, as the loud groan was heard from over here. The growling of my bothered stomach knocked me out of my thoughts. Ah, right, food. Need to get some. Maybe then my mind can finally completely process the fact that I had just spoken to Twilight, frickin' Sparkle, and Fluttershy. Wait, wasn't food the exact reason I wanted to speak to Flutter? Damn it. Well, to say these ponies knew how to beg, well, would be a massive understatement. Breakfast, or what should I rather say, dinner, has been over and done with. Yes, turns out time flew by faster than I thought while I sought for food. Some lovely ponies, owners of a building I saw here, were clearly made out of baked goods. I was half tempted to test that theory out. Or exiting their store to depart somewhere before noticing me in, I quote, a poor, fragile state of awful hunger, before grabbing my front arm and dragging me within the establishment, despite my protests. Of course, any objections on my end immediately died down when I saw the place was surrounded. Sugar Cube Corner. I was far too mature to even snicker at that name. Certainly lived up to its name, and I wasn't one to turn down good, free food. They dismissed my lack of currency, not wishing to see a poor pony starve. They obviously deduced I was new in town and allowed me to have as much chocolate as I desired. That blew me away. This world had chocolate. Maybe there was some benefits to this town after all. We already exchanged our goodbyes, my hunger satiated with the best kind of sweet food I have ever tasted. Seriously, this stuff was delicious. And they merely smiled at my gracious comments for their kindness, saying they hoped to see me at the party where their employee was hosting for the new arrival of a new recent pony, and some celebration at night. I scoffed while declining their invitation to accompany the pair there. Parties were never my thing, so I simply nodded to the two and went the opposite direction. And that was then I realized my error. Only one pony would throw celebrations for newcomers. And I just met her bosses, which means she will probably attempt to throw a party for me if they tell her. which they undoubtedly will about my presence. Huh, joke's on her. I have nowhere to live. Unless Pinkie Pie can somehow rip apart the time-space continuum and arrive in my world to throw a party. Best not to give her ideas. Huh. Suddenly this town feels rather deserted. Probably to the fact it was. I can't see anybody around. What did that walking bag of joy invite every pony to the party? Huh. Must suck for the arrival if he or she wasn't a party animal. Poor unfortunate soul. Wow. First Disney reference since I got here. Incredible. One of many more, I'm sure. Already the sun was setting. And since there seems to be no one else around as I pace around the place, my stomach satisfied. That means I can finally dwell on the fact that earlier today I spoke with the Twilight Sparkle and Fluttershy. How was I reacting so calmly then? Well, the hunger, of course. But that definitely wouldn't be the case next time I'm certain. Just imagine what would happen if I run into the rest of the six. What would I say? What should I say? Well, I'll most likely be more curt to the Blue Pegasus and try to avoid the pink one as possible. Rooney I can tolerate, as long as my only undamaged eardrum doesn't burst from her screeching. Then star 6. Ah, yes. Applejack. I can tolerate her presence. Nothing wrong with her. Fluttershy, already introduced myself to her earlier. She's fine too in my book. Twilight, oh, definitely. She lives inside a library, and that already puts her in my good books. Library. I slammed my palm against my forehead. How could I have been so stupid? The library. Maybe that's where I'll get my answers. My eyes start looking around the odd structures of this town's buildings. Last I knew, before the end of the fourth season, the place inside resided as a whole tree. A tree with thousands of her dead brethren as paper inside. Fool for a world, much. And it's right over there. No time to lose, I said to myself before tripping over my own feet. Hooves again from running. Okay. I dusted myself off and ran again. Now there's no time to lose. You know, I love libraries. I really do. Rows upon rows of knowledge at your fingertips, with all kinds of sections that assist you within any situation you needed to research upon. Fiction and non-fiction together so you can never keep bored. And unlike the internet, you didn't have to waste electricity to find what you're looking, what you were looking and keep it there. I'd be a great librarian. I know it's not a word, shut up. I'd be great at librarian. I know it's not a word, shut up. But you know what I absolutely love about them most? Their appreciation and demand for silence. So imagine my surprise when I opened the front door to the structure that was also Twilight Sparkle's home, and found myself literally blown away in a cartoony fashion, landing on my bed a few feet away from the door, by the intensified pace and loud ear-smashing noises from a party within the library. A couple of blinks, and with a shake of my head, I couldn't help but slam the door straight after, before a loud annoyance, specifically a pink pony that noticed me. Great, just great. That's my plan down the gutter. I should have realized as a vague memory hits me if I was informed about this place. Twilight Sparkle first arrived in this town at the beginning episode. Well, wonderful. Now what? And how exactly can the unicorn just stand this happening to her library town hall? Huh, did I just hear something? Well, there seems to be no one around, and no sound but the damnable noises from the treehouse. 'Cause it's a little... Aha. So, great. Now I'm hearing things. Fantastic. What else does this world wish to surprise me with? Well, that router vicious body voice did say, I think, town hall. Well, as big and popular as this place was, it was bound to have such a building, a solution to my problems, or a trap. My eyes drifted back to the lighted building. I had originally planned to go inside. Yeah, like earlier, caution to the wind. I'd rather be somewhere quieter than that. My hoods were in agreement, already setting me down the path to where I assumed the middle of the town would be to reach my new destination. Let's just hope this is not a final destination. Eh? Eh? I haven't expected to see any pony around here this early. I thought every pony in town was having fun at Miss Pinky's party. I shrugged. I'm not particularly fond of parties. Loud noises, overcrowded, no thank you. The elderly earth pony bathed in a shaded yellow smile. In shaded yellow, smiled. Well, that's alright, but I can't say that will stop that energetic pony when she sees you, and trust me, she will. Hence the wincing on my part. Are nervousness really that identifiable? It was her turn to shrug, looking rather apologetic. Ponyville's a quiet town. It rarely gets any visitors, mister. Ah, yes, sorry. Stardust balance. I gave a light bow. Damn my genetic gentlemanness. Chuckle at my manners. Why, aren't we the gentle club? I am the mayor of Ponyville, and you've arrived just in time, Mr. Balance. The Summer Sun celebration is being hosted in this very town tonight. Well, I'm clearly meeting a lot of interesting characters today. First Twilight and Fluttershy, and now the mayor of this town. It's as if fate desired me to interact with all the important figures beforehand. As for celebration, I believe I've heard someone mention that before. Well, better not draw any suspicion. The sound idea is pretending I am aware about the event they're doing. Oh well, Erase agreed. Good thing I'm always willing to arrive early then. I'm taking it the celebration starts around the Solid Hall. If you by around, you mean inside, of course. Mayor pulled out some key rings filled with what I guess to be every key for every house and building. After you, I motioned after the front doors were unlocked. Why, thank you. My, what a polite, well-mannered stallion you are. With a humorsome coat of fur, I might add. Handsome coat of fur, I might add. She winked at that last sentence before entering the round structure. I think my eyes have just sunken in themselves. Shuddering outside, I followed. Please have a seat. The rest of the town's residents won't be arriving for a while. And remember not to fall asleep. Every pony has to be awake to watch Princess Celestia raise sun. I will be back shortly. I nodded gratefully while she left into some other room and took a seat on. Wait. There aren't any chairs. She must have meant the ground. I shrugged regards and sat in the kitchen, I guess how the species normally sits. At the front-facing stage, looking around the inside of the main hall to pass the time. Well, someone's clearly been busy with the decorations, and I can admire how well organized it all appears. Not a trace of anything party-related on the floor. But soon, party or no, this entire building will be populated by an entire town of people. Ponies. So, why am I here? Gut feeling. That's it. And if there's a lesson I've learned the longest, it's that you should always follow your instincts. Even if that means tolerating a room full of four-legged talking jelly beans. Didn't the mayor say everybody has to be awake for the princess to raise the sun? So that means all night? Okay, yeah, I can do that. Takes me ages to sleep anyway. I wonder if there'll be any refreshments in the meantime. For now, I will wait, and while doing so, I will do what I always do to pass the time. Pacing. I wonder if there'll be any refreshments in the meantime. Eventually a pony and two arrived in the hall, sitting wherever they pleased, followed by even more of the species. And the multiple forms of earth ponies, Pegasus, unicorns, and alicorns wasn't the last one, I'm fairly certain that was made up for the show. If not, then excuse me for not being such an expert on horses. My pacing ended as soon as the first pony arrived, sitting back down right at the front. Normally, I'm the guy who sits at the back within the shadows. No reason to be at the front than to go, ha ha, I was here first. My back faced them. I refused to give an acknowledged nod to anybody sitting between me. My gaze glued to the stage a few feet in front of me. I'm not here to make friends. So exactly what was with this celebration anyway? Celestia was going to raise a son, so was it an anniversary of sorts? Was this the 1,000th year since she had been doing so? No, has to be more than that. What, then, does everybody suddenly then fall asleep on the floor in exhaustion, referring at the presence of their, beloved princess? Wait, perhaps Celesta could assist me in my crisis. Yes, that must be the reason my gut told me to come here. If I could somehow speak with her private about my dilemma, she might be able to help. It's a long shot, just like the library planned, but I can't give up hope yet. The sooner I get back, the sooner the better. Bird chirping. I snapped my head up to the balcony where that was happening and smiled slightly at the sight of Fluttershy doing her magic on the animals. And the sound of horns and trumpets implies it must be time for the celebration. The celebration. Strangely, the noise didn't bother me as much, but good God, does time in this world move fast. And now a spotlight was moving down towards the stage. I followed it and blinked in surprise at the mayor. I didn't hear her walk. She must be older than I thought. Speaking of which, is that really the right age to be still running office? Ladies and genticles, she began, while I resisted the urge to snort at the beginning words. As mayor of Ponyville, it is my great pleasure to announce the beginning of the Summer Sun celebration. I frowned at the obnoxious noise of cheering beside and behind me. In just a few moments, our town will witness the magic of the sunrise. The magic of the sunrise. Wow. Let's celebrate this, the longest day of the year. I raised a brow. Longest day of the year? More like quickest to me. I must have slept later in the afternoon than I thought. And now it is my great honor to introduce you to the ruler of our land. I didn't stop myself leaning a little forward. The fairy pony who gives us the sun and moon each and every day. Wait, sun and moon? What about her sister? Oh no. My eyes widened. Not good. Now I remember which villain was going to appear at the start of the season. More specifically, this episode. A creature birthed from reminiscent resentment and jealousy, taking over the body and mind of Princess Logan, and taking on a new name and being. The good, the wise. Everyone has to get out now. My head turns around frantically. Only one pony would help us now, and I can't see her in this godforsaken crown. The bringer of harmony to all Equestria. Oh, Jesus, no. I just had an epiphany. I am right in the front of the crowd, where the villain most likely is going to appear on the stage. God damn it. Twilight, where are you? Huh. I heard a loud gasp of shock after the announcement music, which decided me to look up with the rest of the ponies, seen taken aback by Mary on the highest balcony, staring at nothing behind the drawn curtains. Well, of course, Celestia never turned up for the celebration at all. How could I have forgotten this information? I ignored the whispers and mumbles of these worried creatures and slowly turned my gaze to the glittering moon above through the ceiling windows. The Mare and the Moon, that was the name of the first episode. And last I recall. 2. It was a two-parter. Remain calm, everybody. Every pony. There must be a reasonable explanation. Oh, trust me, Mayor. There's an explanation. But reason has nothing to do with this. I turned my head back to the evidently nervous pony, my hardened gaze, catching her attention. Get everyone out of here. You need to get everyone out of here now. She blinked at my strict tone. There wasn't any time for this. She opened her mouth to reply when she's gone, a certain white pony exclaimed from above, followed by gasps of astonishment and concern. Oh, that'll be the last thing on their minds. You have to get everyone out of here now, I repeated myself to the stunned mare. Again, another interruption by a shocked yell. Oh, what now? I looked up for considerably the third time and hopefully final time. That looks to be so. I clenched my time as I felt every fur on my body stand on end. Purple glittering mist was rising on the balcony. Without even realizing so, I was instinctively in a defensive position. Here she comes. And out of the mist she came. I glared at the black body with blue armor on some parts of her head and chest, blue misty mane and tail. The crescent moon on her rear end executed mark speculation. I have to look at my own. Turquoise eyes with narrowed irises looking down upon her potential victims impassively. Nightmare moon, I said with a growl. Oh, my beloved little subject, she began, calmness in her voice, in her tone. My eyes narrowed. I should feel rather honored. I'm in the presence of a villain, a fictional villain. Shame she only appears once and never again. Except for that trailer I saw of the 5th season, where it looked like as though she will be making another comeback. I'm getting off track here. She has no business here. It's been so long since I've seen your precious little sub-loving faces. Joke's on you, Miss Moon. I prefer the night over the daytime. Over day, anytime. What did you do with our princess? A familiar-sounding pony from the back demanded. But my gaze remained on the villain. I'm slightly curious. What exactly did happen to Celestia? Oh, an evil laugh. Go figure. Why? Am I not royal enough for you? Not really, I muttered. King Sombra, maybe. Don't you know who I am? An underdeveloped villain. Does my crown no longer count now I've been imprisoned for 1,000 years? Did you not recall the legend? No, but I think you're going to tell us anyway. Did you not see the signs? I did. Oh, about time. And I know who you are. Twilight stepped out of the crowd towards the exaggerative villain. Huh. Didn't notice the rest of the ponies cowering away. Now, only me and Twilight, and the lying down dragon, were the only ones in the open. The mare in the moon. Nightmare moon. 10 points to Ravenclaw. Everyone but I gasped. Dun, dun, dun. Way to be bold, Twilight, I said, standing beside her. My gaze focused on the calm, fallen princess. Well, well, well. Does every villain say this? Somebody who remembers me? Which is surprising as how you are rather easy to forget. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there whose favorite villain is Nightmare Moon, but me personally, she was rather forgettable. And somebody who thinks he can act so bold towards me? I couldn't help flinch slightly at that unnerving gaze of hers. The fur of my new body standing on end, but I refused to yield in fear to the likes of her. She ignores this and addressed the brave Twilight. You then must then also know why I'm here. You're here to just change the scope. I sighed. Oh, great. We're doomed. 5 points from Ravenclaw. Evil laughter alert. Remember this day, little ponies, as if it was your last. From this moment forth, the night will last forever. Followed by excessive lighting that caused my teeth to clench harder, and even more evil laughter. Followed by the blue mane rising like a tornado, covering the ceiling. Suddenly, I was reminded of those songs, snuff out the light. That's your plan? I scoffed loudly. No wonder you are such a pathetic villain. I felt Twilight turn to me in shock and warning for the rather bold remark, but my gaze remained fixed on the triumphant fallen princess. Go right ahead, Nightmare Moon. I don't where this sudden reckless bravery came from, but I will say this is defiance to thee. Do your worst, Moon. To be.